I hope that you're all doing amazing. And talking about amazing, sometimes don't you just have those days where you're not feeling so amazing? Well, yes, it's very common, especially when you have kids and when you have small kids and you're surrounded by a lot of small kids and have a baby. It can be difficult because you get sick very easily. There's lots of little viral and bacterial infections that they get, so they have snotty noses or you have a sore throat, kind of like I do. And I remember way back in the day when I had Isaac, he was like a teeny tiny baby, and Samuel was just like he was a toddler, and he was actually just starting daycare. He just started a few weeks ago. So, and it was also during the winter months, so he came back home with so many little bugs and stuff like that, and it was horrible because I suffered so much thinking that obviously I was going to get sick, that the baby was going to get sick. But did you know that with breastfeeding, you don't have to stop breastfeeding because you're ill? No, that's really not how breastfeeding works, and it's actually way more beneficial to continue breastfeeding your baby because breast milk does something amazing, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so the frequent question is like, should you breastfeed your baby if you're sick? And the answer to that is yes. Okay, breast milk has a lot of antibodies that it makes, and obviously it works on a day-to-day basis. So the composition of breast milk changes every single day depending on what's going on with you and what's going on with your baby, primarily what's going on with your baby. Okay, so your body knows, okay, there's an illness going on, something's going on, okay, we need to make this antibody so baby doesn't get this infection or whatever's happening with your household. So it's really, really important to continue breastfeeding your baby. The only thing that is really important though is obviously make sure that you're always like keeping hygiene as high as you can. So make sure that you sanitize all your pump parts or pump accessories and things like that, or breast accessories that you may use, shields and things like that. Make sure that you are sanitizing your hands, washing your hands as often as you can. So things like that also help, and I'll explain why that happens. Is because diseases, well, not diseases, but infections and bacteria and viruses and things like that, they're not going to be transmitted to your baby, particularly they're not going to be transmitted through your breast milk. They're going to be transmitted airborne. So that's why it's important to keep up hygiene to avoid your baby getting sick. Okay, and like I mentioned, the breast milk composition is going to change on a day-to-day basis. So it's going to be adding more antibodies to your baby. So it's not going to be in the breast milk that your baby's going to get sick. It's going to be from airborne things. Okay. The only way really that your baby would get sick through your breast milk really is if you have some sort of blood poisoning or something like that. That would be a different case or a different scenario. Okay. The one thing that I do say is do not stop breastfeeding when you're sick, because that's actually going to lower your milk supply. Because if you go from like being a full-on breastfeeding mom and you go to pumping, it's not going to be the same effect as you were having before. So your output is going to change and your milk supply is actually going to go down. So it's really important to just keep on breastfeeding like you were regularly doing. If you're pumping, that's fine, keep on pumping. But if you were directly nursing your baby, it's better to just continue doing it that way. And you're going to give it that addition that, remember, through your baby's saliva going on your areola, that's how your body knows how it needs to change the composition of your milk to help your baby thrive and keep on being healthy. So it's better to directly nurse your baby. Okay. Is it safe to get the infant like flu shot? Like, how does that work? Is it actually going to keep my baby like healthier and avoid baby getting sick? Yes. Okay, it is recommended. There's a lot of opinions out there about flu vaccines and vaccines in general, so I'm not going to go into that topic. That's a matter of your personal opinion. But the American Association of Pediatrics does recommend that your baby has a flu shot. And if you're pregnant, your baby's and you get a flu shot, your baby's automatically going to be with that, immunization. So it's great if you do it while you're pregnant. So especially if you do it, they usually do it kind of like in the late months when you're pregnant, and the early months when you're pregnant too, so that your baby's able to have that full immunization throughout your pregnancy, so you don't get sick, and also in those first few months when your baby is at, their health at their most delicate. Okay. The other thing is, when should you actually seek medical help in regards to you breastfeeding, and should you breastfeed your baby? And if you're sick, it would only really be like you have to consult your doctor or your pediatrician. If you have very severe illnesses, like for example, cancer or STDs or HIV or tuberculosis or measles, or septicemia, things like that, things that are transmitted in the blood, like we talked about before, blood poisoning, things that are transmitted through the blood. That's where you really need to contact a doctor to make sure that it's safe to breastfeed your baby. And in regards to medicines that you're taking, and if you can still breastfeed your baby, well, most OTC, so over-the-counter medication, you can take and breastfeed happily, like there's no problem. And I'll mention some of those just that you know, kind of examples of what I'm talking about. So for example, analgesics, I think that's how you said, like Tylenol, basically painkillers, or antacids like Tums, sore throat medicines like Vicks lozenges, or sinus decongestions, or non-sedating things basically you can take. So there's most of over the counters you can take while breastfeeding. The only thing I would say is just like don't go by everything that goes on the label, because most people have to kind of cover themselves. So you'll see most like producers of medicines, supplements, vitamins even, they'll put on the packaging, you know, if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, consult with a doctor. Okay, so they have to put that just to cover themselves really. But if it's like an over the counter, it's pretty much going to be safe, unless it has, like I said, some sort of major side effects like sedating or things, or dizziness and things like that. Okay. Also things to be aware of, make sure that you don't have a preemie baby. Okay, if you have a preemie baby, you have to be careful. And the reason for that is, again, not because anything's going to be transmitted through the breast milk or anything's going to be happening to your baby, but the reason is because your baby doesn't have all of the organs fully developed, so they're extra delicate. So you have to be careful in regards to that. Okay. The other thing is the weight of your baby. So if you have a very small baby, again, you just have to be careful. They have more of a delicate system going on. Also, if you're weaning your baby, so your baby doesn't eat that much solids, depending on the medicine that you're taking, the more solids your baby eat, the better they're able to digest and assimilate medications that you're taking. Also, whether your medication is long-term, it may have a greater impact on your baby. And also the timing of your medication. So for example, if you take it before feeding, after feeding, in between a feeding, the best thing to do is to take your medication after you've breastfed your baby. Okay. And the other thing, again, to make sure that you keep infections away, things that are viral, like I said, bacterial infections, is just to keep really good hygiene, really, because like I said, most of those infections tend to be airborne. That's how you get them. So make sure that you you know, strengthen your immune system, that you're eating really healthily, and the same if your baby's already having breast milk and eating, make sure that the food that they're eating is nutritious. But if your baby is just drinking breast milk, then that's all the nutrition really that they need. And make sure you get your shots, and make sure you're like sanitizing your hands, sanitizing your home. All those things are super important. Okay, mommies, I hope that was helpful, because I had a lot of confusion there when I was sick and having those down days. It's actually better to breastfeed your baby. If you're feeling so down that you just don't want to breastfeed your baby,
thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you give us a thumbs up and you share it with another mommy that can find it useful. Also, hit subscribe. That way you'll get to see all our latest amazing videos that we're doing. I've also included below in the description of this video all our links for our social media so that you can follow us and be part of our community, our discounts, our giveaways. Awesome, mommies. Bye.